Hi guys, I thought I'd give you a quick tour of my Redcat Clawback. I haven't done an in-depth video of this yet, so I thought why not. Straight away, first thing you'll probably notice is the canopy. Now this is basically just aluminium checker plate bent to the shape of the back of the cab, and then it's bolted 4 mini screws with nuts on the inside and washers to an aluminium angled frame, which then bolts to the bed of the truck. Few tumbles I've had with this. It's actually saved the body shell from cracking, so that was a good build. It's lightweight as well, so it doesn't affect performance or anything of the truck. It does make the entire truck really solid, because this is obviously 2-piece, and obviously the bed does flex a bit, so it does actually make this one whole piece, because as you can see up here, there's aluminium angle on the inside of the roof rack with bolts going through to the other bit of aluminium angle on the outside. So yeah, that strengthens up the entire body, and also it creates a lot of storage in the back. I've stored things in here from packed lunches to drink, waterproof trousers, gloves, hat. I mainly put this on for winter times. As you know, the weather's terrible. Well, it is over here in the UK. We don't get snow like other people do in other parts of the world. So yeah, moving on to the roof rack, I've put loads of these keyring loops through, just so obviously I can tie stuff down. Got a mini bungee cord which holds my max tracks, I'll show you those in a minute. Sunglass case, which is suede I think, and basically I just keep recovery gear in here, which I actually do use. It's just heavy wearing string. I think I've got about 15 meters of one, and then a shorter one of about 9 meters long, and that helps for really long steep hills. This is my awning, which is tent material. It's waterproof. They're the 2 legs. They're quite long. Basically just roll it out and stick the legs in the ground. Works for, you know, if it's raining, you put your handheld transmitter underneath it, keeps it dry. If you're not wearing a waterproof coat, you can't put it under that. Or it does actually fit in the back of the truck. I've put it in there a couple of times as well. Fake CB aerials, one here and one here. They don't actually do anything. Some people have actually said, do they actually do anything? And I said no, because they're just bolted and glued from underneath on the body. This is a shoelace, but it's elastic, and I thought that would work as a kinetic snatch strap, and I've actually made my own hooks. This thing has been absolutely brilliant. I've really used this really well. I've deliberately got this truck stuck in boggy mud and sand, and I've had temp scales pull me out with this, and it really works. The front of the truck, again, I love these keyring loops. They're really good, really good. LED lights, these 2 don't work, because I found them on the floor somewhere and they didn't have cables on the back, but I thought they looked really good on the front of the bumper, so why not? Snatch strap toe loop thing, I can't remember what they're called now. This has worked really well as well. Checker plating on top, just so that it's, well, that's for aesthetic looks. This switch here, I used to run 8274 Warn winch, which is their most powerful winch they do, and it pulled this truck out of sticky situations a few times, and that was the kill switch for the winch that I used. Just one of those things, really. Saves draining power when the truck's running and you're not actually using it. But yeah, I took that off because this thing rarely gets stuck, especially with these tyres. And the fact I've got my little sandboards as well. I'll show you those in a minute. Cheap Chinese LED light bar, bought that for about £3 off eBay, and they actually sent me 4, so thank you. This thing has worked absolutely brilliantly. It shines so far, it really does, in meter lengths. I've had it in the torrential rain, snow, all weathers basically, blistering heat, and this thing has never let me down. It's brilliant. And I thought that would work a lot better than the standard LED lights that you put in the light bars on these. Coming around to the other side, I've made a snorkel, which is garden hose, which comes out of a little bit of copper pipe through the body, and then just cable tied it to the A-frame pillar of the body, and then just a bit of foam in the end of 90-degree copper pipe, and I think that looks pretty good actually. Right, so I just spun the truck round. I'll show you the back. Tiny little padlock and key, just stops the back flying open. This is just a bit of perspex that I cut to size, bit of plastic, and just stops all the stuff flying out. Quite a bit of room in there. Put some rubber mat down as well, glued this to the bed, just stops things sliding round. I've got a little LED lantern hanging up in there, because when you're out and it's sunny or whatnot, or if it's dark, you cannot see where you're putting the pins in the body posts, so you have to use your phone torch or any sort of light just to see what you're doing. So it's a bit of a pain in the arse. So today I thought I'd come up with putting a little LED lantern in the back, and it actually works brilliantly. So it illuminates the entire back of the truck. Almost looks too cozy in there. So I took the stock bumper off, and I basically put this box section of aluminium on, cut the sides and bent the tabs up. Basically this just protects the body from hitting rocks and that. The plastic bumper did its job really well, but I wanted aluminium box section, just as it's just stronger really. Tow hook, which is off I think it's a door hinge or something, a door latch, but this has worked really well. And then 17mm nuts and bolts keep that anchored to the rear bumper, so that thing is absolutely solid. It's bolted directly to the chassis. The tyres and the rims are completely stock. I just swapped the rings round, sanded them back and painted them black, so I thought they looked a bit better than the gleaming red discs that you get on them. Just put some duct tape along here, both sides, just where you're on the rocks, etc. The body does flex quite a bit, as you see, and it just prevents the body from cracking. So, I mean, I've probably got cracks under there, but the tape just keeps it all together really. I thought this was a neat little thing that they come up with, folding mirrors. They've worked a treat. Yeah, that's the snorkel. Quite proud of that. That's just a loop for, again, hanging stuff on the roof rack, but when I hang the body shell up in my workshop, I use that to keep it off the ground. Right, let's have a look at the chassis. Right, forgive me for the state of the chassis. It's just muddy and well used. I went out with this thing a couple of weeks ago and basically just give it a dust off with the airline, but that was it. These I don't know what you call them, suspension socks. Anyway, this is like tent fabric, and I cut them down, made 4 of them, cable tied them top and bottom, and it just keeps these shocks from dirt, debris and water. Velcro strap keeps the battery in place, because I use a 4S 7200, and this thing will keep me going for about 4 hours, because it's a race battery. Obviously it's not really designed for taking it easy. It's done me wonders. This battery's over a year old, and yeah, it's certainly given this truck a lot more life than the standard battery. ESC, I run the Hobbywing 1080 dual brushed motor ESC. Built this box with a little computer fan flipped upside down. It's just when this truck's going through, you know, dry dust, rather than sucking the dust in and clogging up the ESC, even though it's waterproof, it basically gives gets the heat away from the ESC and sucks it out and keeps the dust and debris out. But basically, there's the ESC and receiver in there as well. This ESC has been going strong, oh dear, nearly 2 years since I've had the truck. I bought the ESC straight away, and so I didn't really run the stock electrical setup for long. But yeah, this combined with the 4S LiPo has been an absolute godsend. It's really helped with the improvement of the truck itself. What else? Savox Jumbo digital waterproof servos on custom mounts, which all they are is just bits of steel angle, and then I just cut a square section out so that I could house the servo in. I did those mounts about 1.5 years ago, and there's nothing wrong with them. They're absolutely fine. Steering linkage and that is all stock. Still running the stock brush motors. These things have, well, like I say, they're just so good. Standard gearing, but I am running complete full metal gears in the gearboxes. I had a couple of people say that when they changed the motors to stronger motors or from NIM to LiPo batteries, they were shredding the plastic gears. So I've still got them. They're brand new, they haven't been used at all, they're just as a backup. But I've had someone fabricate hardened steel gears for me excuse me, and they've been absolutely brilliant. I say they've been through a lot of abuse and they're still going strong. Same pinion gear, so it is very loud when you boot it. It does scare a lot of people out in public but no, it's a brilliant rig. I love this thing. Yeah, that's the rear bumper. Like I say, just a bit of aluminium box section. So just when the back end drops down onto rocks and stuff, that really does protect it. I'll flip this thing over and we'll have a look at the bash plates. Right, so these bash plates are made with the same aluminium as I made for the canopy. I basically just put some little tube spacers in there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see. No, you can't. Basically, there's little tube spacers, and then nuts and bolts all the way through that bolt straight into the axle. These things have been a godsend ever since I made them. They've been put through absolute hell, and they've really saved the axles, the steering components, and the gearboxes themselves. I would recommend doing this. However, you do lose about 1 inch of ground clearance, but I'd rather lose ground clearance on this than lose the gearbox casings, because I've cracked one already, and that was only because I went up a hill, didn't realise that I was low on battery power, and basically it came thundering down backwards. Tree stump smashed the back wheel really hard, and it shockwaved through the entire axle and blew up the gearbox casing. So that was human error. That was not the truck's fault. But yes, being plastic, obviously they can be a bit brittle if you whack them on a rock. So I recommend doing bash plates for your clawback. They are a bit of an eyesore, but again, these really do, you know, take a hell of a beating rather than your gearbox casing, because these things are not the quickest and easiest things to do maintenance on when you're out doing your crawling. These are my sandboards that I made. Again, it's just the aluminium checker plating, same as what I used for the bash plates and the canopy. And basically I just screwed screws through. Now it does look a bit gothic Edward Scissorhands type, but I promise you these are not that sharp. I've cut the tips off, obviously. They don't rip through the tyres. However, they do give an uncontrollably insane amount of grip. I can't say I recommend doing this because obviously, you know, they are screws at the end of the day, but these things for me have worked absolutely brilliantly. worst comes to worst, and I did say split a tyre on them, I do have another set of wheels for the clawback, exact same, so I could always carry a spare tyre. But to be honest, I mean, the truck doesn't sit on these heavy enough for the tyres to split, so they may look really dangerous, but they work. I mean, I went for a few prototypes of making these out of plastic, and they just weren't very good, you know, because you can use these as bridges. You can bridge gaps with these as well in rocks. And plastic I tried, they just, you know, they bowed and cracked. So these have been brilliant. I've actually got 4 of these I made, and they go up on the roof, and like I say, the bungee cord goes over all 4 of them. But yeah, these things have helped not only my clawback but loads of other rock crawlers, temp scale ones. So yeah, they are the replica max tracks. Right, so basically that is my clawback in a nutshell. If you've got any questions, or if there's anything I've missed, drop us a message and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching, guys.